Alright guys, welcome back to Persona 3 Reload. Last time I meant Persona 3 Reload. We finally came back to Tartarus after, what, about a month and a half of not doing Tartarus or something like that. Well, you know, we did a full moon battle, and then I guess because I don't believe in resting, I said, fuck you guys, we're going to Tartarus. So that's exactly, you know, that's just what we're continuing on with this game, because, yeah. You know, as I mentioned, we're exploring a new area of Tartarus, so obviously we're going to be seeing it. And oh, I cut off right before a boss battle. Wow, that's a dick move on my part, I guess. But, yeah. The thing about Tartarus, about ending parts with Tartarus versus ending parts in Mementos or, palaces back in Persona 5, because this was something I kind of noticed that because I actually did rewatch bits and pieces of the Persona 5 Let's Play, you know, just as a little bit of a means of comparison of like what I was doing in this Let's Play versus the Persona 5 Let's Play. And one thing I noticed that I did a lot in the Persona 5 Let's Play was I only recorded like 20 minutes at a time. Meaning that there were a lot of times where I knew the part was ending because of the pause screen. And in Persona 3 Reload now, I cut off parts on the next day. So, in the fade to black between the day I'm currently on and the next day, I cut the part there. Or in the case of exploring Tartarus, I cut off when I go to a new floor after a certain amount of time. Like, I think last part was like 20 minutes. And this part's about the same rules here, because, you know, because it's kind of hard to find a good transition with how stylish this game is, and, you know, Persona 3 isn't as generous with the save points as Persona 5 is, because, you know, Persona 5 has safe rooms every set distance. You know, you can guarantee where a safe room's going to be in Persona 5 versus Persona 3, and even in this version, you know, I say that this is the easiest version of Persona 3, but that doesn't mean that they throw safe rooms around everywhere like they do in Persona 5. In this game, you still gotta be conscientious of where you are when you want to stop a session. And mainly because I didn't do sessions with Persona 5, as I mentioned, I did parts. When I recorded, which was a huge, you know, pain in the ass, because I had to pay attention to my timer, and if I went over 20 minutes, because I had to wait until the next time I could, you know, stop the game. Like, I think as a result, there were some parts that were like an hour long, in Persona 5 because of just different reasons, and mainly because those were like very story-intensive moments that I couldn't really find a good cutoff point with. And I'm not saying I'm not going to find that problem in Persona 3. In fact, if I could pull up my playlist of Persona 5 real quick, because I still have that. That's still, you know, despite how much I don't really talk about the Persona 5 Let's Play, it's still one of my personal favorites that I've done, because, one, it's the first RPG we did on this channel, and I actually finished it. Yeah, and it's still my longest with 140. But, like, I'm trying to see if I can pull up all the videos of Persona 5. You know, I had a few outliers in terms of part lengths. Like, I had a few 44 minutes. Had a couple 40 minutes, around 40-minute mark parts. Like, I think the longest part in the entire game was the Futaba Palace part. Part 70 was an hour and 1 minute long and 15 seconds. It was an hour, 1 minute, and 15 seconds long. And then I think the finale was a little bit longer, if I'm remembering correctly. No, the finale was a few minutes shorter, actually. It was 56 minutes. Because I think I sped through a few things. Surprisingly, the Akechi, I thought the Akechi part was a lot longer. Akechi, part 127 was, the Akechi sequence where Akechi goes butt-fuck bonkers. That's only 32 minutes. I thought that was a lot longer. Well, I did speed through that boss battle, because I do remember I grinded Mementos for a little bit. And then Shido's fight was a little bit long, was 41 minutes. Yeah, so I had like a few 45 minutes. I had a few 50-minute parts here and there back in the Persona 5 Let's Play, and I would say I'm doing a little bit of a better job in keeping consistency with times for the Persona 3 playthrough. Let me check. I could look it up real quick. Because I try to keep parts like around 20 minutes long. Because it's just, you know, there's a few exceptions of videos that are like way longer than 20 minutes, like my Sonic P06 videos, mainly because I'm just doing I'm just doing them all in one part. I think my reviews get pretty long too, though I haven't gotten to an hour-long video yet. Here we go. That's interesting. It's saying in YouTube Creator that my playlist is empty for Persona 3 Reload, but that is clearly not the case. YouTube, what the fuck are you doing? I know for a fact the Persona 3 Reload playlist... There we go, thank you. Oh, that's a deleted video. Oh, that was probably a mistake video. Anyway. Let me see here. Yeah, it looks like my longest part so far was part 3, because that was the Tartarus tutorial, and there wasn't really a good cutoff point for that. And that's just kind of the challenge with doing RPGs, is, at least to me personally, is kind of just finding that good cutoff point for story moments. You know, because you don't want to cut it off. My rule when it comes to part cuts, you know, when I cut off parts for any Let's Plays, and this is including, like, Marvel Spider-Man and all that stuff, is I try not to cut parts in the middle of missions. You know, like, you will never... I don't think I ever, like, will cut a part in the middle of a battle, in this game, because that is just fucking crazy. But, like, I try to cut it at, like, a logical time, when I'm not talking and when nothing important's happening on screen. You know, whether it's, like, a transition to another thing. Like, one thing I think, if you watch the Marvel Spider-Man playthrough, that you will notice, is that I try to cut parts right when I open the map, to select another mission. Because that's how I know I'm not talking at that moment, because I'm trying to think of what I want to do next. Doing live Let's Plays is a little more of a challenge, for me to cut off parts, because, you know, I don't want to cut off my commentary in the middle of a sentence and then continue on, because it just feels weird, you know, because then, you know, 1 second I'm talking, and then, you know, since I upload pretty infrequently on certain videos, since I only do Spider-Man for like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Persona 3 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it'd be kind of weird that I cut off a sentence on a Monday part, and then a Persona 3 part comes out, and then I continue that sentence that I was finishing in Marvel Spider-Man. It's just one of those things that it's weird to it's something that is just a weird thing to me that I just personally don't like doing. You know, I don't like cutting myself off on parts. You know, that's just the challenge of doing live Let's Plays, and sometimes that's why I prefer post-commentary, but it just depends on the Let's Play. I think my Sonic 06 Let's Play was probably a pretty easy one to do live, mainly because I shut the hell up during the cutscenes because I wanted you assholes to suffer with me for that horrible, horrible story. Now, I was doing great, and now I got nothing to talk about now because, I mean, I do love the remake for changing a lot in terms of, you know, Tartarus and making it less boring, but we don't really get to the fun stuff in Tartarus until Fuka joins in, and that's not going to be for a while. That's not going to be for probably for another couple of parts, for another, like, 10, 15 parts, maybe? Okay, that's a bit much. Probably a little less than that. God damn it, Junpei. Why did my thing go off? Why do I keep getting notifications when I'm doing shit? Oh, is that part of the video? I hope it's not part of the video. Eh. Oh yeah, you can also tell that you're getting a critical hit when the enemy gauge just doesn't go all the way down, despite the fact that that looks like a move that would kill it.
And that's a wrap, folks.
Bullshit, that should have been an ambush.
There we
know if I mentioned the costumes for this game. I'm going to try my best to show off as many of them as possible. I won't be showing off all of them, but you know, I'll show off at least as many as I can. This is the Velvet Room costumes. But Persona 3 Reload did have its fair share of DLC, especially pre-order DLC. Everyone's favorite kind of DLC. You know, if you got like the Digital Deluxe Super Duper Holy Shit version, you got like a bunch of bonus stuff, which were like, you know, in-game perks that like, you know, sped up the game and made it easier. You know, there are DLC personas in this game. Most of them are like personas from other games. In terms of like other party members. So Makoto has access to the likes of Captain Kidd from Persona 5, Arsene from 5. I don't recall if Izanagi is a persona, a DLC persona in this game, but I know essentially all of the Persona 5 DLCs for party members and Joker, except for Raoul, if I remember correctly, are all DLC personas. But you can use Satanael, Arsene, Carmen, Loki. And what sucks about the DLC, by the way, is that there is a bit of crossover in terms of the naming. So when you're fusing personas, there is a time where you're gonna want Persona 3's Loki and not Persona 5's Loki. So you got to make sure you're paying attention to which Loki you're trying to get, because it's a little confusing. Luckily, there is a way. I mean, the two designs are just distinctly different, so if you can't tell which Loki you're fusing, that's on you. But, like, if you're someone who has never played Persona 5 and don't even know what Akechi's Loki looks like, you're gonna be fucking confused on who, you know, why there's two Lokis in your compendium. And I believe... And the other thing is that they are two different arcanas, so they're not both full arcana, thank Christ. But like, they're both the Loki from Persona 3 is the Fool Arcana, and the Loki from Persona 5 is the Justice Arcana. But again, it's just pretty confusing because you'll notice that this isn't an issue if you don't have the DLC personas, but it's, again, you got to be careful of that.
We don't see that kind of chest.
Man,
Let's
this
not
chair is
pass it up.
slowly peeling, and I don't like it. That's what I hate, these kind of chairs. Yeah, whatever.
Shadows are getting even.
It's probably because of... never mind.
They're weak, so let's finish them.
By the way, Mitsuru was just giving us a tutorial about physical skills in terms of like what they can do. So essentially, if you can land a critical hit on a shadow, you knock them down regardless. I've done that a few times already. But she was just telling us that Akihiko and Junpei specialize in that kind of thing. And yeah, it's pretty obvious from, you know. Yeah, because Persona 3, you know, just like normal RPGs, Persona 3 doesn't like have like classes, I would say, like what Final Fantasy has or other games like that. Like it doesn't have like classes like that, but it's like it's clear what their functions are in terms of, you know, what they do in their move pool. You know, Yukari is meant to be like the healer. Junpei is supposed to be the brute kind of class. I would say Akihiko is kind of like the a fusion of the brute and buff class. Mitsuru is like the trickster class where she, you know, really specializes in ailments. And then, you know, we'll start meeting other characters later, like Ken, who's pretty much he's a similar role to, he's kind of like a fusion of Yukari and Mitsuru to some extent. Koromaru is a little bit of a fusion of Akihiko and Junpei. It's kind of hard to say that because Junpei and Akihiko kind of serve the same purpose sometimes. You know, but my thing is like once you start getting, you know, deeper into the game, you'll know who you want in your party at all times. And I'm gonna say this now, I'm pretty sure I keep Yukari in my party like 98% of the time. I don't recall a single instance where I don't have Yukari in the party, and that's just because having a healer is like the best move you can do in a video game. especially with how broken Yukari's passives get. You know, when you start learning about theurgies and personality traits, one of Yukari's personality traits is that her SP consumption is reduced to half for her healing moves, meaning that her highest level healing move will be half, will cost only half of what it would usually be. So, you know, this is an extreme example, but like say her Media Haran, or however you pronounce that, Media Aran, or I'm sorry, I'm bad at pronouncing shit. If her full heal move was 100 SP, it's now 50 SP with that personality trait active, and it is so much better. It makes everything much better. And also, if you give Yukari an item with Invigorate, Invigorate 3 specifically, where it replenishes SP every turn, you've essentially broken Yukari in half. Yukari is the most busted character in the party for a little bit. You know, obviously, Makoto is pretty busted too once you start, you know, mastering fusions and start, you know, getting your setup ready. Because, you know, he could be a huge damage dealer or and a huge asset because, you know, he's the wild card. He has access to whatever you want him to do. You know, I don't know many people who make him a healer. I can't really recall anyone who would do that. I mean, I sort of gave him some healing abilities, in case something happened to where like Yukari was out of commission and I had to use a healing move quickly, especially when I learned Salvation with Messiah. But that was really the only instance I can think of where I use a healing move, where I have Makoto in any sort of healing capacity. But I would say probably my normal setup, especially once I started getting towards endgame, was probably Yukari. And this is not counting myself. You know, you can't count Makoto because he's stuck in your party no matter what. I would probably say Yukari, Akihiko, because he has a really good passive. And I probably switched out my 4th slot a lot with either Koromaru, Mitsuru, or Ken. I never really used Junpei, and that might have been my stigma against him because of the original Persona 3, because he was kind of useless in Persona 3. In the original Persona 3. You know, once you got Akihiko, Junpei sat on the bench for the rest of the game. Oh, I got poisoned, but I have 570 HP. This is not a problem. I'll be fine. I would have loved it if you somehow missed all of them.
I'll go with.
Oh, damn, okay, it may be a problem now. Yeah, I forgot, it's like, yeah, poison takes off like a certain percentage of your health. Man, I should have had a drink with this. Throat's killing me. Excuse me.
Yori's been knocked down. Someone cover for him.
Oh, my throat's kind of dry now. Fuck. Alright, Wait, if it was weak to ice, why wasn't I using an ice skill?
Good job. Now strike back.
Yeah, I see what I was doing.
Yori's taking one down.
I'll go with.
This is our chance.
Have we seen Junpei's all-out attack image? I don't think I've shown it off. I do love the fact I do love the fact that, you know, it just instantly transforms back into Makoto's default attire no matter what. This is so funny to me. But also, I like the fact that these cutscenes aren't rendered in real time either, so you're stuck, you know, you're just in your school uniform, and then once the cutscene ends, you transform right back into whatever costume you were wearing. Yeah, see? That just reminds me of Batman Arkham City all over again. You know, you have this serious moment in Wonder Tower where, you know, you're about to fight Hugo Strange. Ra's al Ghul reveals that he was the one behind Arkham City. You jump off Wonder Tower after the explosion. Ra's al Ghul is killed. And then Batman cuts to the fucking animated series costume right after. And like, that's just exactly what I always think about with cutscenes rendered in real time. Or not rendered in real time. I find that funnier than cutscenes being rendered in real time, in all honesty. Like, I can laugh at, you know, an in-game cutscene with your costumes because, you know, it's funny when you see a serious moment, then you see this ridiculous-ass costume your character's wearing. But I find it even funnier when, you know, it just, the cutscene ends and then suddenly they're in their costume. Because it's just, it's funny to imagine, you know, them just changing clothes almost instantly. And, like, the other character's like, how the hell did you do that? That's why I kind of wish Sonic Frontiers did a little bit more with the costumes now. Because they only did, like, a crown, the soap shoes, and, and the brown adventure shoes, and all like the birthday bash stuff. You know, it was cool, but it was just, you know, I liked it better. I would have loved it better if, like, you know, they had, like, they did that. I'm happy they did this for Sonic Generations, where Sonic has the Dreamcast model as one of his costumes in the remaster now. So it's funny that when, you know, you finish a cutscene, you know, Sonic, you know, is finishing up his monologue with Tails or whatever, and then it cuts back and Sonic lost all quality in his model. He lost a few triangles in his model, and it's so funny. He's like, what the hell happened to all your polygons, Sonic? The Terrio skin in Shadow Generations is pretty funny too, because, you know, it's a completely different character. So Black Doom's doing this whole monologue about, you know, it's like, Shadow, it is our destiny, I must control you, and all that shit. And then it just cuts to the main game, and then, like, or like, it's in level, and Shadow's, and Black Doom's sending Shadow to Radical Highway, and then, like, you know, you're in the Terrio skin, and Black Doom's like, Shadow, wait, who the hell are you? Because Terrios looks nothing like Shadow. It's not even like a, you know, and that's, you know, that's kind of the point. You know, it's one of Shadow's concept designs, but it's just, I just like imagine like Black Doom going, Shadow, wait, who the hell are you? Same for like Maria and Jailed Robotnik. They're all just like, wait, what the hell? Oh, actually, by the way, you do need that sword for an Elizabeth request. She wants you to show that sword to her one time. Though I think I already did that request because New Game Plus heard her. But I could be wrong. Oh, we'll find out another time. So the next time we meet in Persona 3 Reload, we're going to be talking more in Tartarus, you know, doing more stuff in there. I think I'm going to be finishing up in Tartarus next part. I don't know. But I'll see you guys next time, and take care.